just kind of messing around with tools and more tools.
Got lots of cool tools here, Yancy.
We have the Griots tools are in the house, and as you can see, Mike was messing around with the different extensions. So let me kick it all off real quick. Yes. We are doing what?
We're gonna, I'm detailing this Corvette. I'm detailing this Corvette, and a part of it is the owner asked me if I could install this new emblem.
Okay.
He took off the old emblem, and what's left behind in the paint is what we call ghosting. It's an imprint in the paint that mimics the shape of the emblem.
It's there, people.
And a lot of you pro detailers, seasoned detailers, you've seen this before. And the thing we're going to show is, as I told the owner, I said his expectations low. I said I cannot remove that imprinting, that ghosting 100%, but I can improve it and remove some of the scratches around where the emblem is going to be from where people have scratched the paint trying to polish around that emblem over the years.
Yeah, it's pretty ugly in there.
Yeah, so I'm going to try to improve it before we put the new emblem on. So that's basically it. And this is a common problem not only on cars but also boats. If in my big boat detailing class, a lot of times boats have some sort of
diagonal
graphics on it, and they get weathered and old before the gel coat goes, so they pull them off, and everywhere that graphic was, you see an imprint or ghosting left behind. And a lot of commercial vehicles, someone puts a magnetic sign on the door.
Then they sell them.
Then they sell it and they take the sign off, and now there's a perfect square on the door. That's ghosting.
All right, so with that being said, that's what you get to be in tune for today. And like always, I'm going to do my little spiel. If you haven't liked, followed, or subscribed to us, please do so. You hit the little button down there or hit the little follow button over here. And also tell all your friends, tell everybody about it. We're here every Thursday at 3 o'clock. And with that being said, I'm out going this way, and we'll get you in close on this action today. And what are you doing right there, Mike?
I spent yesterday and today doing all the paint correction on this 2001 Corvette.
Here, let me get a little pipe.
So where the Corvette is right now is it's been corrected, and I've chemically stripped it.
Oh, you look like you need help.
So it's ready for the ceramic coating that I'm going to install. But when I go to fire up this rotary buffer and do some buffing, it's going to tend to throw little splatter dots. And instead of trying to wipe them off and potentially marring the paint, I'm just going to use the Autogeek cover-up towels to kind of cover it up. That's all.
Work smarter, not harder.
Yeah. And it took me about, I don't know, 6 or 7 hours to buff this thing out. So I don't want to, I need one more. They're up there on the chair. I don't think there's any of the white ones. There's a gray one, though.
Chair.
So,
I see.
Yeah, and the area that I'm working is right here, so I just want to try to protect the paint. And some of you that were following me on my Instagram page, my Facebook page, on the Autogeek forum, saw what I was doing here. And what happened to this Corvette is somebody installed a ceramic coating, and they did not wipe off all the coating, so it was left with high spots that had hardened, and I pretty much had to compound them to get them off. And instead of like just focusing on just the high spots, I just went ahead and buffed out the entire car, and that removed everything, the coating, the high spots, and all the swirls and scratches. So a lot of time and work gone into this already. I don't want to screw it up with my splatter dots. So anyway, okay, so first thing I'm going to do, Yancy, is and this is all clean. It's very, very clean. Is I'm going to go ahead and just sand this real lightly, and I want to see if the ghosting imprint will show up better on camera, because I don't think you can capture this like really easily.
Right there. See that little area right where the light? Oh.
Yep.
Well, if you stop moving the light. There's the ghosting. Move the light around towards the inside of the car. Right there. There you go. And move back towards you. Then towards me and towards the wall. And there you go. There you guys can see the ghosting.
Yeah.
As soon as we sand it, you're definitely going to see it.
And it mimics this. It's the shape of this, and it's just the imprint in the paint. And when we put it back on, of course, it'll hide or mask the original imprint, but there's just all these scratches around it where people, you know, over the years have tried to dig wax out around it and poked it with toothbrushes, so it's just kind of a mess. So it's kind of common. Okay, so the first thing is this is the Griots GR8. This is a 8mm free spinning random orbital polisher. We showed this last week to Sam of the 1963 Plymouth Fury. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and put an interface pad on here.
Interface
pad. And what that does is it helps to keep the face of the sanding disc 100% in contact with the paint. Also smooths out the sanding action.
Which luckily that's pretty flat as it is.
It's pretty flat, yeah. And then I'm going to start with 3,000 and then I'm going to go to 5,000. These older C5s like this, generally speaking, have fairly hard paint. And so what I want to do is I want to make removing my sanding marks as easy as I can. So I'm going to start with 3,000. This is 3,000 Trizact.
Okay, let me get on here.
And then I'm going to go to 5,000. Now, I don't have a, with me, I don't have a 5,000 Trizact sanding disc in 3-inch. So I'm just going to make one. I'll do that right now so I can just go to it. Okay, so here's a 5-inch in 5,000.
All right.
Okay, then I'm just going to take and lay this down and put my sanding disc there. Take Mr. Sharpie marker here, draw a circle around it.
You literally do right in the middle. I did it off to the edge.
Well, when I do like 1 and 2-inch discs, I do that, but for expediency reasons, then see how I did that.
Yeah.
Then I'm just going to take and cut it out. By the way, I have a dedicated pair of scissors for this because when you're cutting sanding discs or custom sanding papers for custom sanding blocks, you tend to toast your the blade on your scissors.
They don't last forever?
No, they don't last forever.
Forever.
I know some guys are going, Mike, you know you can buy a punch for that. You know what? It doesn't matter. I'm just going to cut it out and get it going on. So many detailers spend so much time.
And we don't sell punches.
Majoring on the minors. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take and put my 3,000 disc on here.
All right.
And I think I'll just try like 2 or 3 passes and then we'll wipe off and see if the imprints really show up on camera.
All right, let me
soapy water, just a little bit of car wash soap and some clean water for a clean sanding supply. I mix a little water on there.
Now remember, before you do all this, you'd make sure that the car is clean. There's no dirt or anything on there because you don't want to grind that stuff in. So.
Yeah, and this is a kind of a cool feature about the Griots tools is they have a removable power cord. It just kind of clicks in like that and it's ready to go. Now you want to see pad rotation anytime you're machine sanding. So I'm going to start this out on the 1 setting. And I have not really any good rotation. It's anemic is the word. So I'm going to bring it up to about the 3. Now I got some good rotation there. And then you always want to keep your tool moving when you're sanding because you're removing paint. This would be my 3rd pass over this area. I'll do 1 more, then we'll wipe off and take a look at it. Okay. And see how I just threw that splatter? That's why I want to cover everything up.
What is it, you're supposed to let it die before it comes off?
And I've been sharing these towels. I love these towels. These are from the Rag Company. They sell them as a glass towel. I think I seen on the Autogeek website we sell them as for all kinds of things. But I just like them for working on car paint. Okay. Wow, I can hardly even see the emblem marks anymore.
Did you take them off already?
No, they're still there. You can. No, they're definitely still there.
I can.
Let me see if you.
No, there. Now, all right. Yeah, go back towards the wall. All right, now you can see it. Now towards the car this way. There. Now just towards me and back and forth. Now you can see the logo that's still.
Can you see that? Okay.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah, I can see.
Yeah.
It.
So yeah, so it's but now it has kind of a matte appearance. Do we call that ghetto?
No, you call it ghetto, but don't do that.
Anyway, so that was 4 section passes with 3,000, and it really, you want to try to capture that some more?
No, I was getting it where it was autofocus.
Yeah, so when I look at it, I mean, I can easily see where it is, and actually you can easily feel the difference in height, in the separation and where the imprint is.
No, when you moved it back and forth, I could see it.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm just going to make, I think, maybe 4 more passes, and then we'll switch over to the 5,000. We'll buff out our sanding marks.
Now, this is something that you couldn't get rid of if you came in with a rotary with a wool pad.
No. The problem with just coming in with just a rotary or any kind of orbital and hammering on it, with a rotary, you're going to develop a lot of heat.
Okay.
And you can do something we call in the industry called
twisting the paint.
Yeah, twist the paint. That's a really bad sign. You know, one time I twisted the paint on a Viper. Ooh. And I was able to recover from it. It was at a class at McGuire's for the Viper Club of Southern California, and it was on the president's car.
What?
It was on the front. It was the same kind of thing. We were getting rid of the emblem marks from the Viper emblem. And I just made a mistake of buffing too long in one area, and I twisted the paint. Now I was able to come back in and lightly sand it and remove it. I got lucky. My guess
Kids,
is,
don't do this at home.
yeah, my guess is it's been about 20 years is that area of the car probably saw a clear coat failure because I removed some of the clear coat, but who knows? Okay. I'll count these. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, we had a question here from Dave Bateman.
Taking the 3,000 off.
All right, last week you said not to wet sand factory finish. This week you are. Or is this because you're only using 5,000 paper and less passive?
Oh, I did say, you got to remember I'm a writer, so I pick my words very carefully. And I think what I said is most people shouldn't be sanding factory paint. And that's when I go up on Facebook and I see everybody and their brother wet sanding the factory paint on some car and then later on burning through, blowing through it. So I am using very high quality products. These things are not only high grit, they're expensive. I'm using a very safe tool, no pressure. I'm being very careful, and I have the owner's permission because he trusts me. But thanks for asking that. Okay, so now I'm going to switch over to 5,000. A little bit of soapy water here and there. And all I want to do now is I just want to refine my 3,000 to 5,000 so it'll buff out very quickly.
And just the pressure of the polisher too. You're not
and another thing I take into context before I wet sand somebody's car is the owner, this belongs to I think it's the president of the Stewart Corvette Club. First of all, he takes meticulous care of the car. It's garage kept, so it's not exposed to the sun where it could cause clear coat failure. And it's very low mileage. It's not a daily driver. So you got to take a lot of things into context and before. But yeah, just to kind of reiterate, most people shouldn't be or should ever wet sand factory clear coats. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me do one more here. Just the weight of the machine. Boom, there we go. Okay, now I use this, this is a paint polisher, but I use it to machine sand. I'm gonna go ahead and pull off my interface pad and my sanding disc, because I'm gonna come back and use this to pull out the holograms that the Rotary is gonna part. So there's the interface, there's the 5,000 grit, and we're done with those.
Done.
Okay, now I want to make sure you get your residue off, because what could be in this residue, Yancy?
That is dead paint.
Dead paint and
dirt.
possibly abrasive particles off the sanding disc
That
have
too.
come loose, and I don't want to buff those into the paint. So you always want to work clean.
You want to do your light?
Yeah, I will do the light.
let's
And
see. I got you
one
big.
of the things, like let me look at first.
Slightly
Wow,
there.
you can't hardly see nothing
Yeah, it's
there.
barely there.
It's there, but it's very light. So one of the things I always tell people is you really, in most cases, you can never 100% remove ghosting, but you can always improve it, okay?
Yeah, no, that is definitely better than what it was.
So you got to keep your expectations real world, and if you're doing this on a customer car, you got to keep their expectations real world.
Don't promise them that it'll
Yeah.
be gone forever.
Okay, so now this is the Griots GR3, and it's a compact, lightweight rotary polisher. And when you buy this, it comes with two different extensions. I think this is like a 3-inch and this is a 2-inch. So it gives you a total of about 5 or 6 inches of extension.
Then it comes all the way down to, I think, a 1-inch pad.
This is the 2 there. So
No, it comes with different pads.
oh yeah, it comes with a 1-inch, a 2-inch, and a 3-inch backing plate. And it's really for doing what I
that's what I
call
meant, backing plate.
surgical buffing. Now, normally I would use it like this for an area like this. What these are for is to get into tight areas. But I'm going to go ahead and put the 1-inch on here just to get the bulk of the body away. So when Yancy's
That way
filming
we can
this,
see.
yeah, you can actually see the pad cutting. And we love our friends over there at Griots, Richard Griot, Doug Hodge, Rod Kraft, Kevin Brown. Kevin Brown.
Who do you know?
Jeff Brown.
I was going to say, I know who you're trying to say.
Jeff Brown. Awesome guys. They work and develop all this stuff. So we're going to be kind of showcasing also their chemicals. Now, this is their new microfiber pad.
Let me get in close
It's
here.
a knitted wool. I think it's a 3.5 inch, so it's mated to fit this. It's made to match and fit onto this backing plate. Okay, it's just like that. And then I got 2 of the Boss creams. Now I got the fast correction cream and I got the perfecting cream. Now these are dedicated compound, dedicated polish, and I wanted to keep it this way because I'm going to coat this, so I don't want to use anything that could hinder the bonding of the coating. So I don't want to use a cleaner wax or something with the sealant or SiO2
You're just going to have to
in it.
strip off anyway.
I just have to strip it off. So, and I read a lot of comments people write about these products, and the Boss creams they use great abrasive technology, and they have a long buffing cycle and zero dusting, easy wipe off. I mean, they're really some nice products. That's actually more product than I need.
I was going to say, what are you doing, the entire car?
Well, it just came out, kind of surprised me how easy it came out thing. So now I'm just going to take the cord off that other tool, plug it in here, and cord over shoulder. Now, last week we showed using the 10 at 10 technique. And when you shrink your pad down...
Yeah, and I'm right in the direction of where you'd be slinging it, so don't do that.
Okay, so when you shrink your pad down, you want to pick your bead up just off of center as I'm looking down on this.
All right, hold on. Let me get both cameras in and close. All right. Oh, that's the money shot right there.
As soon as I get past it, lay it down flat and spread it out. Okay, so now I've locked my tool. Now I'm just going to start making some slow overlapping passes. Pull up my sanding marks. Okay, I think that was 4. I'll do them at normal 8, and then we'll wipe off, see where we're at. I think that's 5. Six. 7. There's 8. And if you ever are working on a base coat, clear coat paint system, and when you turn your pad over, you see the color of the base coat, that's a really bad sign. Okay, so I'm really glad to see that there's no red on here.
All right.
But if there was, you got to remember, it's not my car.
All right, Charles Watson, that is not a G9, that is a GR3. It's the rotary polisher that he's using right
Yeah,
there.
I thought I said the GR3.
No, somebody came in.
Okay, so now just come in here and just wipe this off.
All right, let me go back to camera 2, the overhead cam.
Oh my gosh, it pulled every one of them sanding marks out. So one of the things, when you're using good abrasive technology, the right tool for the job.
It makes a difference, people.
Well, it makes a difference, but also, I hope everybody's watched this. So I wanted to make that look real easy. It was really easy. It wasn't hard on me. It was real easy. So, but if you can make it look easy on camera, it probably is easy.
Can you go ahead and show me the light?
Yeah. This is the Griots Boss
Hold on,
light.
you're not on there. Hold on. Now you are.
This is actually a gift from Jeff Brown to Mike Phillips. That's why my name's on it.
Aww.
And I love this light for inspecting for high spots. It's got a LED. It's got a LED strip on it. I don't want to blind the camera, but I'll turn it up just a little bit. See that? This thing works so good for finding high spots. And then it's got a pinpoint light right here, that you can adjust. This is good for showing customer swirls, things like that. And then it's got a magnetic base, which won't obviously work on the Corvette. But there you go. See that? It's really a nice little light. Slips in your pocket. Okay, it's got a place to hang it.
And you can easily leave it in your customers' cars and you're
You
calling
can
everybody. Mike
Okay.
wouldn't know about that.
Okay, so you need to help me so you can see
All
what.
right, I can still see a little bit of it.
Oh yeah, you can definitely still see the ghosting, but now all those wacky random scratches are gone.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there was one that was all zigzaggy.
It goes this way a little bit.
This way?
Yeah. Yeah. Now you can just see the top edge, but all your I can barely even see any of the holograms.
Yeah, without this light, I mean, you really can't see it. Now, here's what's important to remember. Don't get caught up with OCD and think, well, if a little sanding and polishing removed a little bit,
Let's do more.
let's do more. Because I'll guarantee you, when you start buffing, you're going to see red paint, and now you're going to buy a paint job. And a really good way to keep yourself from going too far is before you do work like this, call up a body shop and ask them, how much will it cost to repaint this section of a Corvette? And take that number and use that as a mental image of why you don't want to go too far, because you're going to be paying for it.
So that know when to say when.
Yeah, know when to say when. You know, over the years I've been in this industry, I've had so many people that have had a scratch in their car's finish, and they start buffing it, and they start buffing it, and it's almost out, and they go a little longer, and then they come and ask the question, did I go through the clear coat? Because now the place I'm buffing is dull, okay? So the base coat, a lot of people don't know this, but the red color, or if your car's blue, whatever the base coat color is, that portion of the paint is not glossy in and of itself.
Nope.
It's the clear layer that gives the glossy. So when you buff through the clear coat, what's going to happen is it's going to be a very small little circle that's just going to start to grow and grow as the edge of the clear coat is abraded away, and the thing that's left behind is dull. It has a matte look to it, and that is the sign you've went through the clear. Also,
That's an uh-oh moment.
it's keying the color of the base coat on your pad. Okay, so now what I want to do, Yancy, is I want to go ahead and switch over from the Rotary
Back to the G8.
back to the G8. And for this, I just have the Boss yellow foam polishing pad. And here's their perfecting cream. And real quick, something about the Boss creams that makes them unique is a lot of times a company that has a compound, a polisher, a cleaner wax, and AIO, each one of those products may use different types of abrasives. With the Boss system, it's actually all the same abrasive technology. It's just the volume in the different products. So this being a finishing polish, there's just a lot less abrasives in it. And it's kind of a unique approach.
Brilliant way of going about it.
Yeah. Okay, so now I've switched over. I was on the 3 for sanding, and again, I want to see pad rotation. And so all I'm doing now is I just want to ensure that there's no holograms left in the paint. So I got my product spread out. I'll just do my normal 8 section passes. There's 1. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
8 is great. You know why 6 is afraid of 7?
Why?
Because 7, 8, 9. Dad joke.
You should get a TV show.
This is my TV show. What are you talking about?
Okay, so there, man, I tell you, I'm even impressed with myself. That looks so good. Okay, let's throw the light on there again. I'm really impressed with how well this came out. Is that
right there, I can see just an ever so little bit of it.
It's very faint.
Yeah.
It's very faint.
But once you put the other,
oh yeah,
I mean, it's going to be non-existent.
And that's the kind of the point is once
here,
we
hold
put.
on, let me. There we go. See, you can't even find where it's supposed to go.
Yeah, well, once I use ambient light, I can. Boom. I'm gonna let you put this on, by the way.
Oh, I think
you're more talented in that area.
Now, would you put that on before you coat it or after you coat it?
You know, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna go ahead and coat this because here's what's going to happen. If I don't coat this thing first, it's going to be really hard to get into the nooks and crannies there. And I've done this in the past. This has an adhesive on the back. After I coat it, I'll wait 24 hours. I'll lightly wipe this area, just a little alcohol just to make sure it's perfectly clean. I'm gonna guarantee you this is gonna stick on there good. And again, this isn't gonna be like abused. It's just gonna go sit in the garage and take in the car shows. They're not gonna be trying to take it off. So I'm looking for more of the total beauty appearance. And one of the things—
You're playing an end game.
Yeah, I'm playing the end game. But one of the things the owner really loves about having a ceramic coating on this car is how fast and easy it washes and dries or wipes down. So yes, it's kind of about taking care of his wants and needs, not mine. I know a lot of people would say, no, that won't stick to the coating, but that's not my experience. I wouldn't do that with the PPF film.
If you have to compound the damn coating off, what do you call it? It's going to stick.
Yeah, well, it's sticky. It's going to stick. So anyway, Yancy, that's all I got for you today.
Wow, you're fast. See, you can do this in under 30 minutes, people. That was literally about 20 minutes.
And we went nice and slow. I covered 2 different sanding discs, how to make your own sanding discs, interface pad, 2 different types of tools, the Boss creams. So we covered a lot of real great tools and techniques. But this is a real small one. And actually, I'm going to recommend to the owner to buy a new emblem for the front. He has the exact same problem in the front. Over the years, before he had this thing professionally detailed and coated, over the years, just the normal action of putting a wax on and then trying to get it out of the nooks and crannies of the emblem, you get scratches around the emblem. And the only way to really get them out is to take the emblem off, shmoo over the paint, and put a new emblem
There's that
on.
shmoo word again.
So, and I don't know what these emblems cost, but they're not for the overall results you get for cleaning this up before putting the emblem on. Looks great.
Well, especially if you're going to be showing the car, you're going to want to go that far of detail in.
Yeah, the Stewart Corvette Club has a big Corvette car show coming up, so that's why they're trying to get all their vets looking good.
Oh.
So,
well, here, I want to, this just kind of looks ugly, so I just want to take
let's
these
go.
off.
We're done with this, so we can take all this off. And, people, you always see me using these. They're the Autogeek cover-up towels.
Or if you have beach towels, you can do that. A sheet. I mean, you can do a bunch of different things. We don't sell all that. We sell these.
Yeah, yesterday, when I was compounding this, I had taped off, I'd use these to cover up the backs of the seats and the whole interior. I put the windows up, but that way, when I was doing the correction work, I didn't have to worry about coming back and having to clean the interior because I got splatter dots everywhere. And I do have a very specific technique which I fold these, by the way.
Well,
you're getting it wrong.
Well, sorry.
You're having fun wrong.
You're welcome. I'm having fun wrong. That's it.
That's from
I'm
Sheldon.
having fun. When is being right fun? Okay. All right. So with that being said, he's cleaning up. You know what time it is. Do you? Do you? It is viewer questions. Time for you to ask your questions. I will relay them over to Mike, and Mike will give you an answer. If it's right or if it's wrong, we'll never tell. All right, let's go split here. All right. Let's start back up here. Let's go John Vargo. This will be interesting. My experience with removing any kind of ghosting is a hit and miss. What do you think about that? As you just stand there with a blank stare.
I can't remember a time in my life where I've removed it 100%. I mean, there's always the telltale signs of whatever was on the paint where it was at. So the more important thing is to, Eleanor Roosevelt has a quote that I really like. It goes like this: try to learn from other people's mistakes. You may not live long enough to make them on your own. Okay, so I'm telling you straight up, when you're doing work like this, if you try to take it too far, you're going to go through the clear coat, and now you will get rid of the ghosting because you're going to get a paint job. So when you're dealing with customers, just lower their expectations and say, look, Jim, I can't remove this 100%, but I can definitely improve it. And you lower their expectations, then do your best, and they're going to be happy, and you're not going to have to buy a paint job. So
there's going to be more money
keep
that
the
you're
big
making.
picture in mind.
All right, we have Alina, I want to say that's your name. She's from Puerto Rico.
People that are new to detailing, because they got no experience, they're the people that are going to try to go too far and go through the clear coat, and then they're going to be getting estimates for a body shop. So
You'll learn the first time that you go through.
Yeah, so
and
instead of
then
learning the
it's-
hard way, I'm telling you straight up, try to learn from, I've made this mistake, so don't do it.
All right, let's go here. Richard, yes, today we were having or we still are, a 40% off.
Yeah, well, I tell you, right now is the time to, some of my favorite products are Blackfire One Step. Usually it's $40 a quart at 40% off. That would be, I can't do math in my head, but $30 a quart.
Yeah, it's
cheaper.
But let's put it this way. If you're watching this on the replay, if you're not subscribed to our newsletters, you wouldn't know about these sales. So it's just a little self-plug there, if you may. We answered that question, Dave Bateman, about, what do you call it, why we're doing that.
To make it look good. Isn't detail
No, he was asking about why we wet sanded our factory finish. All right, we have Richard. I assume that you may end up having the whole panel because it looks that whole panel has minor orange peel and the emblem spot will be clear after sanding.
Yeah, but once you put the emblem on, it's a non-issue. Yeah, so.
Let's go here.
Me looking at it, you know, there's not enough difference to make a hill of beans.
Of beans.
Don't major on the minors.
Okay. Richard, John, he was answering Richard. That's the problem with this sanding isolated areas. There's a typically refrain from just that reason. It just all depends on the paint. It really does.
Hey, everybody can make their decision what they want to do on the car they're working on. I chose to fix this and make it look better.
All right. Let's go to Ian Jack. Clean your machine. Is it Ian or is it Ian? Type 1 if it's Ian, 2 if it's Ian. I want to make sure I get your name right. He's saying, hello, everyone. We have Javier from Ecuador. Thank you for tuning in. We answered that question. Abram, he says he loves us. I love it when Mike stays in one spot and doesn't move out of frame. That's what I love. Charles Watson, does that come with attachments? Yes, the G3 does come with attachments. It comes with a 2-inch, 3-inch extension. Then Mike stated all the
1-inch, a 2-inch, and a 3-inch backing plate.
Yep.
And a wrench to help you to change. There's a lock button right here that actually locks the shaft from spinning, and then there's a wrench.
But you don't have it.
Yeah, I got it right here. So the wrench that will come in here, and there's a slot so you can undo the extension.
Just like a typical
like
rotary.
So yeah, it's actually a really nice tool. It's good for doing what I call surgical buffing.
All right. Looks like possibly we have Danny. Are you from Ecuador too? Actually, that'd be like your little hand sign. Okay, Thomas Kirby. Those marks under the light, are those from the glue? No, we removed the glue. And actually, Kirby comes in a little bit later. I saw his question. How would you remove the glue?
Oh, if once the emblem's off, if there's still some adhesive there, one of the best things to do is just use some 3M adhesive remover.
And if you remember, we did do an emblem removal on my Dodge Scat. Yep. And that video's in this live class, and you'll see that where we took the Dodge off the back of my car.
The trick to using 3M adhesive remover or any, usually like a orange citrus oil-based solvent, is not to put some of the solvent onto a cloth and rub like a madman.
No.
Put some on the cloth and hold it against the adhesive and let it go to work, penetrating into the adhesive, dissolving it, loosening it, then rub. So let time work for you. Have some patience.
Yeah. Ian. All right, I'm saying your name right. Ian. I was right the first time. He answered me. So, can you, all right, we have Renardo coming in here. Can you go straight to the coating or do you have to wipe off the polishing oils?
You know, with the Griots, it's always brand specific. With the Griots, I don't know if Griots has an official recommendation, but I'm going to wipe this area with the panel wipe before I coat the entire car.
All right.
We're actually doing that tomorrow. We're shooting a video that you'll see in a couple weeks.
All right. Yes, we will.
Yancy watched me. I did all the hard work. I did all the machine correction work.
Yeah, that's why I'm, strategically setting up my stuff, and he's over there busting butt, and I'm like strategically setting up my stuff. All right, let's go here. Martin, after removing ghosting on gel coat at the boat detailing class, this looks far more risky.
Well, it's just, just depends. Like, I've been doing this for years, so I feel comfortable.
But then again, gel coat is a different beast.
Yeah.
It's thicker. Car paint is thinner, so it is. I guess it could be a little bit more risky.
If you ever are around a piece of Trizact 3000, if you feel this, it feels like a piece of paper. It's not like sanding with 1,000 grit or 15 or even 2,000. It's very, very refined. I'm using a very safe tool. I only turn the speed up just enough to maintain pad rotation. I had an interface pad on there to reduce the aggressiveness also. So it was a very safe process, and the results are just phenomenal. But you know, every detailer, everybody watching this, you have to determine, you know, what's your comfort level for doing this type of work. My comfort level is very high. I completely feel comfortable doing this. And as you can see, I did not make a mistake. There's no red paint on here. But yeah, so what I want to do is show people how to do it, but you got to make the decision if you want to do it. For most people, you know, you have to invest in these types of tools, not these tools. I mean, you need these too. But this stuff here, this isn't cheap, and you can't go down to AutoZone and buy this. Like Autogeek carries it. So if you're going to do this type of work, you have to have had some planning ahead of time and ordered your supplies and to have these, you know, have these types of tools at your disposal. And as far as I know, these are the highest quality sanding discs on the market. You know, the 3M Trizact, it just doesn't get any better than that. And they also make an 8,000 grit. I mean, if you really want to be safe and you just want to kind of fix something up, get the 8,000 grit and go to town on it.
Yeah.
I teach this in my detailing classes, by the way. So, I mean, we just, 3 weeks ago, I had a 1937 Ford slantback street rod and a 1963 Plymouth Fury drag car, race car, muscle car. And my class, most of the people who had never wet sanded in their life, successfully sanded both cars down, buffed them out with no mistakes. So again, my comfort level is I'm pretty comfortable with this type of detailing work. And the only way you're going to get comfortable is to try, but if you want to, get an old junker panel out of the wrecking yard and try it there.
Well, that's the thing is, you know, the only way to learn is to do. So, I mean, you got to get your hands dirty sometimes.
What's Yoda say? No, try, do.
No, try, do.
What's the member from Star Wars? Yoda.
That's Yoda. The little green guy? Yeah, that's Yoda.
Yeah, he has a saying. It goes like, there is no try.
There is, you do.
Yeah, only do. You can look that up.
Yeah, we're failing right now. Sorry, all of you Star Wars fans out there. We have Richard back here again. Last year, I applied a ceramic coating. This year, hypothetically, if I notice any new light swirl marks, etc., is it vital to first remove that coating prior to any polishing, compounding?
Well, when you polish a compound, you will remove the coating. The coating that was on here was really stout. I buffed out most of this car with 3D1, which is a compound polish. It's not super aggressive, but for the coating areas, I ended up using Pinnacle Advanced Compound with a wool pad on a Rupes Nano.
Okay.
You know, they're just little spots everywhere, just everywhere. Like Yancy, remember when you came out here, there was a high spot right here.
Yeah.
So after someone put the coating on, you know, the thing to do would be come back in about 45 seconds and to have spread the coating and then wiped it, and they just missed this spot right along that edge there. And if you look in the right light, it's just this dull area it was coating. So I went through with the Rupes Nano and just kind of surgically removed all the coating high spots.
All right, we have an answer to your great Yoda debate that we started.
Yeah.
Do or not do, there is no try.
There you go, that's Yoda. Do or do not do, there is no try.
Thank you, Arvind.
And I'm not even a Star Wars guy.
No, he's Science Galaxy Theater or whatever, Mystery Science Theater. That's what he is. All right, let's go here, Ernesto. Let me put this on this cam because this is going to need it for this comment that's coming up.
Okay.
All right, here we go. I met Mike at SEMA. He makes detailing sound so straightforward and easy. I believe anybody that follows his advice and methods should have no problem out there. So now just to give it the added effect, wah, 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 wah. So that was a nice little tip of the hat to you.
Thank you. I love going to SEMA, and usually when I go to SEMA, I'm always demo boy.
Yes, you are, demo boy.
Stuck in front of a black hood, and what I do is I sand it down and buff it out, and sand it down and buff it out, and I try to make it look really easy. And of course, it's under excruciating lights, and but in between doing that, it's fun just to talk to people, meet people, catch up with
Hopefully
people.
this year. Hopefully.
Hey, we're all hoping SEMA goes this year because I know I want to go.
I'm getting a little stir crazy.
You know, there was a year when I worked for McGuire's that they came out with an aerosol foam mousse for a vinyl product and a leather product. And the plan for all my former friends at McGuire's, The plan at SEMA was we were supposed to rotate through the booth and each take a turn demonstrating. I had a piece of wood. One side was covered with vinyl, one side was covered with leather. You put the stuff on, you wipe it off, and everybody disappeared. So I was demo boy for like 4 days in a row doing something really boring.
See, he was the one that didn't get the memo.
Yeah, I'd much rather work on paint than vinyl and leather at a car show.
All right, let's go here. Sarah, how little pressure push down on Rotary did you have?
Oh, you know, I would guess about 5 pounds. You know, one of the things that anytime you're demonstrating live on camera is you don't want to make a mistake, but a mistake could be not getting the sanding marks out, because then when he brings his camera in, I'd look bad. So I did put some pressure on there to make sure I cut out my sanding marks, and I probably could have stopped at 6 passes, but if I did and they weren't 100% gone, then all the experts out there watching would call me out. So I went ahead and did a normal 8-section passes, had about 5 pounds of pressure. For my last 2, I brought my pressure up, because I always teach that polishing paint is an art form, not a grinding process. We bring the human elements of care and passion to create beauty. So.
Are you writing a book?
That's the introduction to my book. That's in the introduction to the complete.
Told you, is he writing a book? All right, let's go back here to Arvind. Hi all, big fan of Mike Phillips and the AG crew. Thank you. Question: is there any difference in this approach when dealing with single stage paint versus clear coated paint? Good question.
There's no difference in the process, but you know, there's not a lot of new cars being made with single stage paint. Toyota being one of them. Most of their white vehicles use a urethane single stage paint, which is very hard, so be very careful. I would do a test spot before I would try to machine sand single stage white paint. In my experience, I have found it the hardest paint to work on because of the pigment, which is titanium dioxide powder. But so in context, there's not a lot of new cars with ghosting. So if you're talking about maybe something older, you know, that came from the factory with 60 paint, a 68 Le Mans, you know, a Mustang or something that has graphics or stickers that were on it, and now you want to try to sand that old single stage paint, my advice would be tread very lightly. Because see, once, you know, right underneath that single stage color coat is primer, and right below that is steel in most cases, and it'd be really easy to go through. And you always got to remember, and I got an article on this, here's the title of it.
You like it? Here
it's
it goes.
A long title, it's really boring. You could type this into Google, by the way. Sanding removes paint, compounding removes paint, polishing removes a little paint. Type that into Google, add my name, and you'll find the article, but that's also what the article's about. Sanding takes off paint, compounding takes off paint, polishing takes a little paint off. Problem is if your paint's real thin, you're gonna go through. So working on old single stage paints, I'd be very careful.
Okay, there you go.
Ask him, what are you working on, by the way? I'm curious.
Arvind,
I had a guy contact me this week in California that's restoring the paint on the original paint on a 1968 Charger. And he's really struggling. He was using wasn't using a good process. So we kind of straightened out his process. I'm looking forward to an update from him.
I think that was more of a general question. I don't think Arvind really had. Well, Arvind, if you do have a project you're working on, put it in the comments real quick.
Yeah.
He's my Yoda expert.
Gotcha.
Let's go here. George A. Does spray ceramic coating have a shelf life? I used it last year and still have some left that I want to use on another car. Well, remember the old EXO?
Yeah, I love the original EXO.
I have a can of that. I know it's no good, but I have a can of it.
You know.
Oh, and he is working on a Suzuki Swift Sport.
Oh, how cool is that? Yeah, monster truck.
Yeah, it's a 2012.
44-inch boggers under it.
The 454.
That was cool, yeah. You know, here's the deal. Is the thing about all these ceramic products out there is when the product itself is exposed to air, that's when it's going to start to cure and set up inside the bottle. So you won't know until you try and use it. What I would do is I would prep a section of paint that you want to use the car on and spray some on and see how it worked. If it looks like it's working good, go for it. If it doesn't, then it might be time to toss it. Yeah, but you know what? He brings up a good point. A lot of people are always curious why coatings come in little bottles.
No, and put some wisdom on these people.
Yeah, and
let's go to church, people.
The reason they come in little bottles because once you do the coating to your car, whatever's left over. I mean, if that's all you're going to use your car and that coating is good for a year or 2 years or 5 years, you're not going to use that coating. You don't want to throw away a full bottle. So they don't want to give you a huge gallon jug of coating. It would go to waste.
Clunk, clunk.
You know, the Dr. Beasley's products behind me over there on the wall, his Z1 and his other products are in a tube that sits upside down. And someone asked, hey, why don't you bring these out in quart bottles? Well, because when you got about halfway through it, you'd have a bottle full of half of air, and that product would start to set up in the bottle. So, you know, it's the issue is exposing the product, the active ingredients, to oxygen.
Yeah, which turns around and activates the product.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go here. This looks like the last question.
Okay.
We have first from Puerto Rico. Let's go here. Would you be okay to use Goo Gone to remove the 3M glue, or use the attachment used on the drills to remove it?
Well, either one will work. You know, it's a couple ways to skin that cat. You know, just some adhesives, you know, if they're really old and aged, you know, Goo Gone's just not going to cut it. No pun intended. The 3M adhesive remover is a very strong solvent. You know, it's a really good product. The rubber thingamajiggies you put on a drill and then rub over those work pretty good too. But again, if they're old and aged,
then that leaves another problem.
It's going to be hard to get off no matter what.
Yeah,
I would be with a plastic razor blade, a little bit of
plastic razor blades are your friend.
A good solvent. Plastic razors were good. Even a steel, if you got the nerves. If you got nerves of steel, use a steel razor blade. But you know, old pinstripes and things like that, it just can be real tricky. Really time consuming too.
Very true. Okay, so I hope you guys learned a little something. This was a quick video. We are actually going to be wrapping up under an hour. So I really, you got to coat that, so they'll put that on after you get done coating it.
Yeah.
But do we know what we're doing next week?
I don't have a clue. But you know what? I've seen some people complain that the videos are too long. So for you people, this is for you.
This one's for you.
It's a short one.
But then also, we are going to be releasing a series of videos that we're going to record, and it's going to be a series for people to tune in. If you don't know, I'm going to be getting a 2021 Hellcat Red Eye Charger, and my estimated shipping date is the 8th of next month. So when it comes in, I was talking with Mike, and since it's brand new, I want to do everything, coat it, make sure it lasts, because if I'm flopping that down, much money down on that car, I want to make sure it does. So we thought we'd take you along for the ride, showing you how to properly protect and seal, I guess, all the
every square inch of that car, inside and out.
Inside and out, the motor, the interior. Well, I can't really do that.
And the big picture is this is the time to do it when it's brand new.
Yeah, I don't want to do it a year from now and have to remove all the defects and everything, then start from behind
or if there, I haven't seen it, so if there's any exterior plastic trim, what most people do when they buy a new car, because it looks good, they don't do anything. Then 2 or 3 years down the road, they look at the plastic trim and it's faded and ugly. They go, oh, now I need to do something. No, the time to have done something was when it was still brand new. Start putting a dressing or something like the solution finish on there right then and there, and then keep it up. It's called preventative maintenance.
So just so you know, that will be coming down the line. It's probably going to be like a 4 or 5 part mini series that we'll put up on YouTube. Then I'll make sure I'll put it over on the Facebook page also, but it's going to be pretty much geared over towards the YouTube.
And then we'll wrap that up with him doing grodies out there in the parking lot.
Grodies? What the heck's
donuts.
a grody? Man, you got schmoo, you got these weird, I don't know what's going on with him.
We'll have you light them up out there.
Yeah. Well, they have to wait until after my 500-mile break-in. Then I'll do that.
Okay.
So with that being said, we wish you all a very good day. Thank you for tuning in to our 42nd episode. And like always before, if you're new here, go ahead and smash that subscribe bell, like us, follow us, and tell your friends we're here every Thursday at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
And everything you saw me use, you can get at Autogeek.com.
That's a good sales pitch. You know, I'm glad that I taught you well.